understanding the language of the Quran. I welcome you all to class 38. Inshallah, today's class is going to be an important class and it might be a bit lengthy class because it needs a little bit more explanation. So, to begin with, what we are learning from previous few classes is the forms of verbs. So, we know we've learned extensively about three letters verbs, which is a form 1, and we already know that it's got three kalimas: fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima, where the fatha is on fa kalima and lam kalima, and the vowel sign changes on the ain kalima. That is in the madi. And we also know in mudari', the alamatu mudari' will have fatha in three-letter verb, and the fa kalima will have a fatha sukoon, and ain kalima where the vowel sign changes, and the lam kalima will have a dhamma in the marfu form. And we know the alamat mudari' or ya, ta, a, and na with the fatha. Then we went on to learn about four-letter verbs. So what is the speciality of the four-letter verbs? We know that the mudari' it begins with the alamat mudari' will carry a sign of dhamma. Else it's you, tu, u, or nu. And we know there are 10 forms of verbs, and among which there are 3 forms of verbs which are constructed using 4 letters, and those are form 2, form 3, and form 4. And all these forms, the mudari' begins with you. Let's quickly recap what we have learned. Form 2, how it is formed, is basically you bring your 3-letter verb, and what happens to in these 3 letters is there is addition. The fa kalima will retain its fatha, the ain kalima will have fatha, and lam kalima will fatha. The additional is the ain kalima with sukoon, so which will be fa'ala. That is the madi. And mudari' we know it begins with dhamma, is yufa'ilu. So ain kalima will get a kasra, and lam kalima will have dhamma in the marfu form. So it will be mansub and majzoom appropriately. So it is yufa'ilu is your mudari', and amr will be fa'il. So where when we know how it's formed, alamat mudari is taken away and the lam kalima will turn into a majzoom. So it's the fa'il, that's the amr. So for example, if we take form 1 example, same thing again, alima ya'lamu i'lam. The form 2 will be allama yu'allimu and allim. And form 3, we know how it's formed. So we bring the fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima, and fa kalima will get a alif. So the sound is prolonged. Is it fa'ala? Instead of fa'ala, it will be fa'ala. So examples we have jahada, yujahidu, jahid, sa'ada, yusa'idu, and sa'id. So that's the pattern, which is fa'ala, yufa'ilu, and fa'il. That's the amr form for the form 3. So moving forward, so let's recap form 4. So form 4, the fa kalima will have sukoon normally, and ain kalima and lam kalima will have fatha, where we have a hamza is added to 3-letter verb. So where hamza is added, hamzatul qata, it's not the wasal, is hamzatul qata is added in the front. That becomes the form 4. In the regular form of the verb, it will be af'ala. So and you know the mudari', how it's formed, the hamza is dropped and becomes yuf'ilu. So there's a typo here, it is yuf'ilu, and mudari' will be af'il. Mudari' will be af'il. So if I give some examples, akmala yukmilu akmil, and adkhala yudkhilu adkhil. So from form 4, what we are doing in lesson number 16, what we have done is that we have taken a verb which is the most commonly used verb, and which is a very special verb, we can say, so which is arada. It's a form 4. So and the mudari will be yuridu, where the hamzatul qata is dropped. Arada means he wanted, and yuridu means he wants. So there is something more we need to learn when we use this verb yuridu. That is what we're going to learn today. This verb normally comes with a attached with the masdar yuridu, which means he wants. So the he wants, the word or the sentence which comes after that will be a masdar. So we are just going to do a quick recap again to understand what is masdar. So I'm going to play a playback video which we will learn about masdar. Learn now, inshallah. So masdar, to understand masdar, we should know that the fa'al, that is an action, will have three parts to it. So then any fa'al will have three parts to it. What are those parts? One part is a person who is doing the action and the time when it is done. For example, kasara means he broke. So we know he is the person who is doing, and we know kasara is madi, which means past tense, that action has been done in the past. So you have a kind of a tense attached to it. A word which has a tense attached to it is a fa'al. So we have studied this. So we have fa'al and fa'il. So this is what you have in a verb, and then you have an action, like breaking is the action. So what is masdar? So masdar is the action when without doer and the time. That's what is called a masdar. This only denotes an action. For example, in English, if you want to say he wrote, but we add a word ing to make it a masdar. That's writing, drinking, cleaning. So it denotes an action, but it doesn't say who is doing it or when it's been done. So it's called a verbal noun or a gerund in English, and in Arabic it's called as a masdar. Also in English we call it as a verbal noun. So for example, let's enter into this. So dakhala yadkhulu, dakhala means he entered, yadkhulu he enters, and dukhulun, dukhulun means entering. So this is how we translate. Dukhulun means entering. So masdar has got many patterns in Arabic. So how do you know which word is a masdar, which is a fa'al, and which is a madi? So we know this. We will learn about patterns as we go along. But in this lesson, we've been introduced to the only one pattern. So inshallah, we'll learn one pattern at a time. So here you see dukhulun. So what will be the pattern here? It is fu'ulun. So there are many verbs will have the same pattern. So as we go along, we understand this is masdar. So the most common words what we use is sajada, yasjudu, sujudun. See, fu'ulun, sujudun means prostrating. Raka'a, ruku'un. The same pattern, fu'ulun. So jalasa, julusun. The same pattern. Kharaja, khurujun. Nazala, nuzulun. So these are the patterns which we need to know and remember as we go along. So let's move forward. So this is a verbal noun. It is how I tell to easy to remember that it is a verb, but it is a al-noun. Al-nounu means it is a noun. It is not a verb, which means it will have all the characteristic of a noun. It will decline, it will be marfu, mansub, majroor. It can take al, it can take tanween. So we know verb does not take al, does not take kasra, does not take tanween, but masdar, because it is al-noun, which is an ism, so it will take all the things. For example, we say ad-dukhulu. Say dukhulun is your masdar, but ad-dukhulu, when we put al, so we know get one vowel sign. So ad-dukhulu mamnu'un. The entering is prohibited. Entering is prohibited. Ar-ruku'u qabla sujudi. So the bowing is before prostrating. الركوع. So both it can take say marfu and can be majrur. قبل is your zarf and مضاف إليه. So خرجنا, so we left. So this is got فعل. خرجنا من الفصل, we left from class. قبل خروج قبل خروج المدرس. So before the leaving of the teacher. So here there should be wow here. It's a typo here. So خرجنا, we left from class before the leaving the teacher left. So that's about verbal noun. So that's the verbal noun, which is masdar. So as we said, masdar is an ism. So it will have all the qualities. It will be marfu. So masdar can be marfu. If ism is mansub, the masdar can also be mansub. And whereas we know ism can be majroor and masdar can also be majroor. So we know also the different positions the ism takes. So same positions even the masdar can take. We know in a sentence the ism can be a mubtada. So we know the ism can be mubtada, it can be a khabar. The ism can be a khabar and ism can be a mudaf ilayhi. So as the masdar it can be a mudaf ilayhi. You know ism can be a fa'il. So whereas the masdar can also be a fa'il, and we know ism can also be a maf'ulun bihi. These are things which you have learned so far. So we just work around these terminologies, inshallah. So what is masdar? Masdar is if you want to describe it in English, it is a original noun of action, or it is called infinitive. So in the meaning of masdar in English means origin, or it's original, which means if you take a pattern fu'ulun, which come, for example, if you take a sajada, sujudun, the base form of the letters, it is sajada. So the letters are found in the masdar. Sujudun. So we have seen, we have jim, and we have dal, for example. And that is one of the patterns. So we just learned in the video before, raka'ah, ruku'un. So ruku'un have the verb based letters. So which the masdar which has the verb based letters is the original masdar. So we're going to learn some more patterns today, just so that we can get a little bit more understanding. So second pattern what we're going to learn is fu'ulun. For example, shariba will be shurbun. So it is drinking. Shariba, he drank. Shurbun is drinking. The third pattern which we learn today is fi'alatun. Fi'alatun, for example, qara'a, qira'atun. So these are the patterns of the masdars which have the original letters from the verb, and that is turned into a noun, and it can have all the characteristics of the noun. So we're going to learn another type of masdar. There's another type of masdar which is called al-masdar al-muawwal. Al-muawwal. So this is what we're going to learn today, inshallah. So what is masdar muawwal? So let's take an example from English as usual, so it can make easy for us to relate. So if we take these sentences like I want, or I like, or I forgot. So the natural next letter, what comes, the next word which comes is I want to. That's the normal preposition which we use. I like to, or I forgot to. And what comes after to is a like a base form of the word. For example, if you want to eat, you say I want to eat. I want to read. I want to write. So this to and eat together, that actually denotes an action. I want to eat. To eat, it describes a certain type of action. So this can be interpreted as an action. So this word which comes with to and a letter, a word, is called infinitive. This is called infinitive. And we got another pattern. For example, if I say I want to drink, there's another verbal noun which can be made by bringing ing to the word, which is, for example, I want to drink, we can say I want drinking. If I have to say I like to read, we can say I like reading. If I say I forgot to write, we can say I forgot writing. So to drink, to read, to write can be changed, and we can use these words which makes the same exact meaning and sense. So what is this drinking, reading and writing? It's called, the word with ing is called gerund. So in a sentence, why are we talking about these two, infinitive and gerund? Is because in a sentence a gerund and infinitive can be interchanged. So you can either bring an infinitive if you want to construct a sentence, or you can also bring a gerund. So this is the English. So we have something similar in Arabic, so which we're going to learn. So al-masdar muawwal. So if we say, if we take I want, so what is I want in Arabic? We know what, that's the verb which you're learning, a 4-letter verb. That's the whole exercise to understand uridu. So we know why it's uridu, why it has dhamma and everything. So I want means uridu. So drinking is a masdar. And what is drinking in Arabic? Shurbun is the marfu form. We know uridu is a verb, so it needs mafulun bihi. So it becomes shurban. Uridu shurban means I want drinking. So this shurban is your masdar. So if we want to change this sentence, so we want to say I want to drink. So I want means uridu, and to means an. To means an. So we know what an is. An is called harf masdariyan wa nasbin. Means we know in an lamma wal falli. If you remember, these are the words which makes the following word mansub. Mostly the noun mansub. So an will make whatever verb comes after it, makes it a mansub. So the difference in English and Arabic is we use a generic word like drink in English, but whereas in Arabic it's very specific. For example, if you say I want to drink in Arabic, if you say uridu means I want, an is to. So instead of drink, it will be ashuraba. So what is ashuraba? It's فعل مضارع منصوب بالفتحة. So this is the فعل مضارع with appropriate file is used. That's the difference, very specific. So this is al-masdar al-muawwal, to drink, which is an plus the fa'al mudari', that is called masdar al-muawwal. And this masdar muawwal can be interchanged with the masdar. So they both are interchangeable. So uridu shurban has the same meaning as uridu an ashraba. Uridu an ashraba. So that is, the first one is called shurban, that one is called masdar. And what is masdar muawwal means? This an plus the fa'al mudari', it is considered, it is interpreted as a masdar. That's why it's called masdar muawwal. So it is considered as a masdar. So let's take example. For example, an plus fa'al mudari' is a al-masdar al-muawwal. That's the whole exercise. So if we take an example again, uridu an ashraba. So an and fa'al mudari' got together combination is a masdar muawwal. So we know this masdar muawwal is also a type of an ism, which means This masdar mu'awwal, the combination of an and fi'l mudari, can be a mubtada, it can be a khabar, it can be a mudaf ilayhi, it can be a fa'il, it can be a maf'ulun bihi. So this combination of an plus fi'l mudari, it can come as a mubtada, it can come as a khabar, it can come as a mudaf ilayhi, it can be a fa'il, it can be anything what ism can be. But this combination of an and fi'l mudari will is mabni. That means, for example, the ism can be marfu, mansub and majrur. We know normally the sign of marfu is your dhamma, mansub is fatha and majrur is kasra. But an plus fi'l mudari will have only one vowel sign, that is fatha, and that fatha is because of the an. And how do we describe it when this fi'l mudari is mubtada, which will be marfu? So we'll say if that al-masdar al-muawwal is marfu, we'll say fi mahalli raf'in, or if we say fi mahalli nasbin, or if we say fi mahalli jarrin. So let's take some example, and that can give us a little bit better understanding. So this is a normal sentence. We say uridul kitaba. It means I want the book. So al-kitaba, what is al-kitaba? That is your maf'ulun bihi. Normal maf'ulun bihi. It is not a masdar. It is a normal maf'ul. It's an object. So it is maf'ulun bihi mansubun. So it is ending with fatha. So if you say uridul khuruja, see al-khuruja. So why it is al-khuruja? Because this al-khuruja, now this is a masdar. It comes from the pattern of fu'ulun. Kharaja yakhruju khurujun. So al-khuruja ending with fatha is a maf'ulun bihi for the fi'l uridu. Uridu means I want. I want to go out. I want to leave. So this is al-khuruja is maf'ulun bihi mansubun. So we can see a sign of fatha. So al-khuruja, which is masdar, it is the original masdar. But if we want to change this al-khuruja to masdar mu'awwal, what is masdar mu'awwal? Which means an plus fi'l mudari'. So we need to see where this masdar is coming from. So which verb, which is kharaja yakhruju. So if I am using the verb uridu, so then I will say uridu an akhraja. I will not say uridu an yakhraja, or I will not say uridu an takhraja, because that will be a wrong combination of the pronouns. So we need to have a same pronoun in the whole sentence. So we say uridu an akhraja, which means this is exactly the same meaning as uridul khuruja. So this an akhraja is your masdar mu'awwal. So how do we describe it? We say al-masdar al-mu'awwal fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi. So this combination together is a maf'ulun bihi for the fi'l uridu. So this is how we will be able to understand and connect the sentence. So if we understand this concept, so let's give some more example and finish this class, and we'll do some more practice in the next class as well, inshallah. So if I say la yumkinuni al-khuruj, so now we need to see it is ending with dhamma. So what is this sentence? This word yumkinu. Yumkinu comes from the, it is a four letter, it's starting from the alamat mudari has dhamma, so we know it is four letter. So it is amkana yumkinu. Amkana yumkinu. La yumkinu means, amkana means he made it possible. So yumkinu means it is possible. La yumkinu means it is not possible. La yumkinu ni. Ni here is nunu wiqaya, and ya mutakallim is maf'ulun bihi. So what is al-khuruj? That is the fa'il. That is exiting. Exiting is not possible for me, or going out is not possible for me, or you can say I cannot go out. So la yumkinuni al-khuruj. So The reason why is al-khuruj is the masdar, original masdar in the pattern of fu'ulun, kharaja yakhruju, khurujun, and that is your fa'ilun marfu'un. This is the fa'il. So if you want to change this al-khuruju into a masdar mu'awwal, how do we do it? So we will bring it an plus fi'l mudari'. So we know the khuruj comes from the verb kharaja yakhruju. So we have to bring an akhraja. La yumkinuni an akhraja. So now this an akhraja is the fa'il. Even though it is ending with fatha, that fatha is because of an, which is harf nasbin. La yumkinuni an akhraja. This means same meaning. That is, I am not able to go out. So al-masdar al-mu'awwal fi mahalli rafa'in fa'il. So it takes little bit practice and little bit understanding of this concept. It can be a little bit difficult, but inshallah we will practice, and that brings to end of our class 38. So please write and listen to the class again if needed, and I will see you again inshallah in our next class. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.